Hey, what's going on, guys? All in China, hosted forever. I know I'm a little bit late with this video, but I still wanted to comment on it. Pretty sure you guys saw all the news on the internet over the last couple of days concerning Sony's real feelings about Microsoft owning Call of Duty. Now, if you guys follow me on my channel, if you're Xbox All In like I am, this should not be a surprise to you. Over the last, I would say, year, a lot of stuff has been revealed when it comes to Sony and their business practices and what they really think. But more importantly, man, the numbers. Sorry, guys, excuse me. But the numbers that are coming out now and the reveals that are happening right now, it's just par for the course, man. I talked about this about a year ago, wait, a year and a half ago, especially after the acquisition, the official acquisition of Bethesda by Microsoft. Basically, back then the writing was on the wall, and then Microsoft knew it was going to be making a lot more purchases and stuff like that. Still, there are a lot of people who doubted that. There's also a lot of people who thought that Bethesda games would be going multi-platform, that would be staying multi-platform, and they found out the hard way that is not the case. I mean, as far as the legacy stuff, that's fine, but the new stuff, definitely not. And you see that kind of happening also with Call of Duty, and this is why Sony isn't happy about Microsoft owning it, right? Because for the longest time, Sony's been pushing that they have 117 million consoles sold. The PS4, I don't believe that at all. Um, because the numbers don't add up to me. And if you guys, like I said, man, if you guys follow me on social media and you see the stuff that I post and the stuff that I look at, the politics stuff aside, but just on the gaming front, man, I really need to see like numbers and data. I really like that's how I kind of base my decisions a lot of times, and not just in gaming, across the board, right? So what you've been seeing over the last year is all this data being pushed to the forefront to the point where people can surmise what the truth is when it comes to Sony and what they're saying, and even Xbox. Even though depending on what they share and what they don't share, but it doesn't matter. There's just no way that you can hide numbers, right? So, and there's a lot of people out there right now on social media trying to throw shade at Sony or trying to deflect and run interference from. Right, like in the case of I see people on social media saying, "Well, what are you, like an analyst, or you have a degree in mathematics or something like that?" Look, you don't need to be a specialist or have some kind of degree when it's just basic math, right? If you have a little bit of common sense, right, you look at things a little unbiasedly, or if you can have a bias, but as long as you're honest about it to the point where it doesn't affect your judgment and your decisions and the data that you're looking at, then that's perfectly fine, right? You have to check yourself, which a lot of people don't do. And this is why these Sony guys, and especially their fanboys, be taking L's, right? And Sony knew this was going on. And that's why when the documentation was released by the Brazilian government about why they're against Microsoft owning Call of Duty, it's all laid out in black and white. Every single thing that the majority of us, or at least the people that I follow on social media when it comes to Xbox, right? And pop culture in general, right? So you guys gotta be wary, man. If you guys are finding yourself in shock and awe about this announcement, and that these things are big reveals to you, just like what's happening with the people on the PlayStation guy, like Colin Moriarty, who was in absolute shock that PlayStation games don't actually sell as much as he thought they did, right? Because he's too busy console warring, he's too busy throwing shade for Sony that he can't, separate himself from the actual company and the ideology, and then he gets sucked up in this kind of stuff. Then the facts are released, and then these guys look stupid standing there, with their head in their hands because they don't know, dude. They're just too close to the metal. I'll put it to you that way. Right. So for me, on my part, even though I'm an Xbox guy and I have a bias and I'm a fan, right? I also look at it as a consumer, man. Like if I'm going to buy into Microsoft's ecosystem, which is what they were pushing for the longest time, for the last 4 or 5 years, especially. And in the beginning, you guys remember this stuff, man. A lot of people were making fun of Microsoft or laughing, saying Phil was kind of like, yeah, he was lying about the whole stuff. He didn't know what he's talking about. Microsoft is dead. They have no games. The whole narrative they've been running out the whole time. And all of that stuff is blowing up in your face. And this is what proves it right here. This is what proves it right here. When you see that documentation, I won't go into the nitty gritty of it because it's been covered ad nauseum. And I kind of want to make this video short, guys, because I'm kind of limited on time. I wanted to put some other content out there, and I'll try to. But it's been a bit hard for me. Just been busy, like I said. But if you just read it yourself and you see what they're saying, it's over. It's over, dude. It's over. Everything that Microsoft's been planning and they've been planning over the last couple of years is finally coming to fruition. For a lot of us who've been dealing with this personally, right, in this console war, in the trenches, right? The usual suspects, aside from myself and the people that I follow, you guys know who they are. Um, this is the revelation, man. This is the truth. Everything is becoming, obvious now and clear. Right. So if you guys, like I said, find yourself in disbelief, man, you guys really need to check who you're following. And like look, I'm not trying to say this to like get subscribers or to put myself above anybody else, right? My channel is the way that it is. There's a lot of people out there that put out, entertaining and a little bit more in-depth stuff, but it's the content where they're lacking, man. That's why I don't follow a lot of these Xbox guys. That's why I started doing these videos. Because the only reason I started this channel back in 2013 or 2014, back in the day when I first started YouTube, was to, basically have a voice, to be the cog in the machine, because there's just so much false narratives out there. And even though people don't um, follow me on that level, man, as long as I get my voice out there and at least a couple people can see what's going on, and then adjust accordingly. This is why I brought the Xbox Online channel back, right? Because, these people are absolutely clueless to what's going on. Because the problem that they're having, they can't see themselves. They think they're unbiased, right? They think that they're multi-console, even though they're multi-console owners. They think that they are actual gamers, and they're not. And you can see in the stuff that they write, the opinions that they have, how often they're wrong. I mean, they're so wrong so often. I mean, I don't know how anybody would trust anything that they do. Right? Aside from them bringing just the regular news that we can discuss, but their hot takes are just bad. Right? And like I said, when I did that video, after Microsoft had officially purchased Bethesda, sorry about the noise, guys, Bethesda ZeniMax, right? And then I did a video why Microsoft is doing that, and all it has to do with Game Pass, right? And this right here just reaffirms that, and it reaffirms the thing that I said is the most important thing that Microsoft has to worry about, which is content, right? And then from content, you got to shift to market share, right? But a lot of these PlayStation guys do, like I said, they can't separate themselves from their bias. So a lot of times when they look at this kind of stuff, they'll say stupid stuff like, this stuff will never go, none of this properties will go exclusive, right? There's no way they can't see it happening because they can't see a world where, um, the honest part is they can't see a world without it being on Sony because most of them prefer that console of choice. Any normal gamer, if there's a shift, they'll just go over to where the game is, right? But these guys have a bias, like I said, and because they're just so focused on the specific things, they can't see the part of it. Like I talked about is, why would Microsoft have to put this content anywhere? And I'm talking about Call of Duty as well if the majority of the people are on the Xbox or in the Xbox ecosystem. Unless Microsoft wants to be nice, right? But a lot of people look at it like, well, even though Microsoft owns this stuff, PlayStation is still going to dominate. They have the most consoles, people be playing over there, right? A lot of these same guys are the same ones that hate Game Pass, and also the fact that they can't see the value of Game Pass and how strong it is a disqualifier right there. Right? Okay, guys, I know this video is running a bit long. I didn't want to have it run as long as I'm having it right now, but yeah, I definitely wanted to talk about this, and I'll bring other stuff up more closely in detail. But just like I talked about in my other video prior to this one, right? You see a pattern developing here, and you can follow it. It's really that easy. It's like following breadcrumbs, right? As you see the narrative for um, Sony just falling apart, and they're gonna have to do something. That's the kicker as well. This isn't just something that you just sweep under the rug, right? They've used smoke and mirrors. They've had their Sony defense powers, but with the moves Microsoft is making, dude, these are changing. These are game industry changing um, events that Microsoft is doing right now. These actions that they're taking. I mean, they're that big to the point where nobody can. There's nothing that Sony can do to spin this, man. They're gonna have to come correct from now on, which could be good for their fan base, but their fan base is absolutely the most annoying fan base out there. They're absolutely clueless and toxic. And I don't like using that word at all, but it's absolutely true. These guys are the worst of the worst, and something like this could actually spur them, and by them I mean Sony, to actually take this console war thing a little bit more seriously. And I mean in a business aspect, not in the trenches where we are. And actually start doing and course correcting, right, to get their brand back in order, right? And I'm talking about not like what they're doing with PlayStation Plus. I mean like a full and total 180 and getting back on board and putting themselves in a position to challenge Microsoft because at this point it is over, man. But then you guys know me, man. I'm a pro Xbox channel and I can't stand Sony. And if they disappear, I could care less. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down below, man. But a lot of this stuff that's happening right now is revealing. I'll do more videos with this. That's why I know I'm late with it, but I definitely wanted to get my opinion out there. Hat tip to all the Xbox guys in the know that's been keeping this community going all this time. That's been fighting the good fight, man. It's your moment. Celebrate it if you want to. If you just want to, step off on the side because, knowing, as they say, knowing is half the battle. You're comfortable with that. That's great as well. But if you want to, look, man, if you want to strip, dude, if you want them to eat crow, I'm perfectly fine with that because they actually deserve it. But anyway, all in China, host figure forever. We out.